Hey everybody, welcome to our guest episode. We have a number of guests here. You can use your real name, or you could use a name you don't want to, let anyone else know. It could just be like your alter ego. Do you know what an alter ego is?
No.
It's an alternate ego.
Oh.
Remember to talk right over here when you're talking.
Oh. Okay.
Yes. It's a name. You could say any name. What name would you like to have today?
My real name. My name is Woo-kyung.
All right. People are going to remember that when you're famous.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. And then over there on that side we have...
I'm Tina.
All right. I'm the bread man.
I'm the bass kid.
That's right. And we have another guest over there.
Hi, my name is Winston.
Like the cigarettes or the Salem in North Carolina. Right? Yeah, sure.
Yes.
All right, so we're trying something new. We got a lot of people, and we're going to let it roll. We're going to make stuff up, and we're going to tell people how it is. We're going to ask some questions. We're going to talk, and we're going to see where it goes. It's free form, because this is free media at the Free TV studio. How about we start by talking about some of the things that we all have experienced, like our educational experiences. We were going to contrast and compare some of the experiences going to coeducational schools, that means boys and girls, and then single-sex schools, that's like where you go to school with all boys or all girls. And I know that I have an all-boys school experience, and I think somebody in the crowd has an all-girls school experience. Is that right?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, but that's for college, right?
Yeah.
And then the rest of you, did you go to co-ed schools? How about you?
I also went to the Coed school.
Oh, okay.
Right.
How about you?
I just attended a normal school.
A normal school with boys and girls. How about you, Winston?
I also attended a co-ed school.
Oh, wow,
Nice.
cool. Okay, so one of the things I was thinking about was my single-sex educational experience, because I realized maybe even though it was good in some ways, in other ways maybe it wasn't so good. For example, I think it may have set me back behind my peers because I felt like it was harder for me to relate or to make friends or approach women, and that's just because they weren't around during my high school years, which were really formative. I focused on my studies, and I did a lot of academic things, but then I realized when I got to college, which was co-ed, that I was a little bit behind. Other people would have more comfort where I would be a little nervous, or they would there was just a lot of learning and catching up I had to do on how to relate to women in certain ways, because the way that they thought, even though they were certainly capable in terms of academics, their way of thinking and approaching problems was very different to what I had seen with my schoolmates, which were all boys. So that's one thing I noticed, and I could go on. I'm curious though about the choices. Did any of you have the options to go to single-sex schools and you declined, or it just didn't occur to you? I went to my school because in the town where I lived, there was a private school which had a good reputation, and it was all boys, which is where I went. Or I could have gone to the public school, which was co-educational, but it was less prestigious. So I just chose to go the prestigious route. But I didn't really choose to go there because it was all boys. It just happened to be all boys, and that's why I went. How about you, when you chose to go to your college, which is all girls? Why did you choose that school? Because of reputation alone, or because it was all girls?
Yeah, I don't think I chose my college because it was all girls. It was a lot of different factors, including like the academics and the location and the resources and opportunities offered. And I think the fact that it was like an all-women's college wasn't like really high up on like the list of priorities.
So did you apply to other schools that were co-ed?
Yeah, Wellesley's the only school I applied that was all women.
And then that's where you chose to go.
Yeah.
And so it was because of the location and the reputation, but not because it was all girls.
Yeah.
Was there anything that turned you off? Or do you think it has enhanced or in some ways disabled you because it's all girls? Or do you think, it doesn't matter, it's just the university I go to and so it's all girls and it doesn't really make any difference? Do you notice differences in the culture or how women relate to women in an all-women environment? Do you think sometimes men can pollute the atmosphere, or do you wish that some intermingling happened? Because one thing I know about Wellesley is that I think you can take classes outside of Wellesley if you opt to, right?
Yeah, you can definitely take classes outside of Wellesley. There's actually a lot of partner colleges, including MIT, Babson, Olin, and some other schools as well. So it's very easy to talk to people and other students from different colleges.
But so do you find that it's better when it's just all girls? Do you find like girls relate to each other differently when it's just all girls?
Like academically in like a classroom, I feel like there isn't much difference. It just feels like a normal classroom setting.
Mm-hmm.
But I think there are like still like some subtle differences, because like in my high school, in like some of the more like advanced math classes or advanced physics classes, there was like a big like gender ratio difference between boys and girls. There would always be like way more boys than girls, and then like you always felt like you were like the minority, I guess. But then like when you come to Wellesley, you just suddenly don't notice it at all, and like you never think about it until you like end up taking like a class maybe at like a partner school, and then you realize that like you're still the minority. Yeah.
By minority you mean a woman in the class?
Yeah.
So like if you took a class at MIT and then you say,
Yeah.
wait, this reminds me of high school,
Yeah.
I'm the only girl.
Well,
Or one of the few girls.
yeah.
I see.
I have one question. I have never attended a single gender school, so I'm super curious. Are there any special considerations for girls at Wellesley? Like, I give an example. I attended Beijing Normal University. Even though it's public normal university, but there tends to be more girls than boys. Maybe 60% of students are female students. So the problem is we have equal number of restrooms. So usually girls have to wait in the long queue to get access to the restroom, but boys don't have to. I'm wondering, does your school offer any special consideration for girls?
I mean, we do have more female bathrooms than male bathrooms.
I would guess that's probably one of the things. What about like sports or outside activities? Is it like, I got a question. Because my high school was all boys. We had a football team and all these things and all these kind of normal high school things, but we didn't have any cheerleaders. There were none. So
That's fun.
yeah, so then I wonder at Wellesley, where I know they have sports teams, but then do they have cheerleaders? Or I guess they don't have a football team, I'm guessing? I don't actually know.
Yeah,
Maybe
I
that
don't
changed.
actually know, because I don't really follow the sports.
Right,
Yeah.
okay.
What about other things like maybe the teacher there don't have to worry about their students being in a relationship very early and get a distraction from their studies?
I don't think like in college, like going to like a women's college makes it like people don't choose it because they like decide that like a relationship is like not our priority right now, because a lot of people are in relationships, and I feel like it's like the normal percentage of like people in like relationships at like any other college.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I can believe that. I have statistics, anecdotes, and a story to tell. But I also want to involve our other folks in the studio.
How about we ask questions about what guests who attend boys' school?
Well, I attended boys' school, but they went to co-ed schools, like all the way through. But I went to a co-ed university, and I was studying so much, I wasn't really in a relationship. So I didn't have the hazard or the heaven of being in a relationship during college, which I noticed that's when a lot of people go through a relationship evolution. So I think I was a little bit behind from high school, and then I was behind again in college because I was like, well, I just better study and study and study. And so I don't know, even though I went to a co-ed college, I still wasn't really I studied engineering, so I kind of like reselected again to like low female ratios.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because I went to a co-ed high school,
Right.
and there were definitely a lot of students who chose like to focus on academics and like did not choose to like pursue any relationships.
Right.
And I think that it's just like the type of attitude and like your priorities instead of like the type of school you go to.
Yeah, it's kind of the person.
Yeah.
What about you? Were you in a relationship in high school or college?
High school. Actually, I was in a relationship in high school very short time, but I think it was not that serious, I think. And in the college, I felt the same thing with the Brad, actually. I also
Studying?
went to the engineering school. So, basically, technically, I went to the co-ed university, but like the gender ratio was a 10 to 1.
Yeah.
So it was almost like a man's school.
That's the same that I had too in college. So I had 0
Yeah.
to 100
Yeah, that makes sense.
girls to guys in high school, and then I went to college, and then it was 1 girl to 10 guys in engineering school. And so then I was like, oh my god. When I finally entered the real population, there were women everywhere. I had to learn how to talk to them and how to interact, not because it was a deficiency on my part, not on society. So I had to sort of realize, oh, this is how you talk. Because I think there are differences in certain behaviors. Have you noticed differences in male and female behavior sometimes?
Well, I guess my experience is like very different from everyone else here.
Okay.
I like went to a co-ed high school as well as a co-ed like college.
Yeah.
And the like gender ratios were always very, very balanced. So usually, I like also study engineering in college, but for like my college, there's actually more like women than men, which is.
You mean university-wide?
I think university-wide as well as for the engineering school in particular.
There's more women than men in your engineering school?
Yeah, I think it's like 55% women, 45% men.
That's astonishing.
Yeah.
Especially to
Oh yeah.
to us.
Can I have a question?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Is it only for the like computer science or other physical engineering things also?
I don't exactly know like the exact like gender distribution for every single major, but I know that for almost all of the like engineering majors, including computer science, but not limited to like computer science, that there's actually more women than men, just by like a little bit.
Wow. And that's all the way through, from start to finish, like in the graduating class.
Yes.
As far as you know, there are more women graduating in the engineering school.
Yes.
Wow.
So I think that like we have come a long way for like certain schools like my school, but obviously like it should not stop there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know why there is a discrepancy anyway. Like,
I think it's because of like college admissions and how they like admit students. Because for like the past like 10-20 years, it's been like a priority, especially for like prestigious universities, to admit like at least 50% women.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm pretty sure that you can do that on a university acceptance level, but then, for example, my school had there were many more women freshman year, and then by senior year there were not. And it wasn't just women, it was also everybody. Like, I think it was something like 350 people were going to be mechanical engineers in my year. And then in my graduation, anyone want to guess how many? 350 freshman year, and by senior year,
35.
oh, good guess.
35 women? I mean,
Right.
350 women at the beginning? Or
No, 350 people. It was probably 350 people said I want to be a mechanical engineer,
Okay.
and probably 100 of them were women.
100.
And then by the end, 6 women.
6 women
Yes.
left?
Oh,
6 in 100?
No.
Yeah.
Then there were, I think it was like 59 people in total, and 6 were women.
was it really that hard?
The major?
Yeah.
Or, well, I mean, I don't know why you would suggest that it being hard would mean that there would be a drop off of women.
No,
but-
like not necessarily women, just
No.
from 350 to
Right. Well, it's just a lot of people start off, and then first year of college is very hard compared to what people think when they sign up. And then as you go each year, it's harder and harder and harder. And then people change majors or decide they want to be in the philosophy department or some other, major, which is fine. I mean, I often wonder if I should have done that too. Maybe I should have changed majors earlier, because, as I was saying to people recently, maybe it's better to figure out what you're good at and do that more. And then if you like it and it's something specialized, that's great too. So like really hone your skills in the later part of your educational career. So anyway, yeah, so it dropped from 350 people down to 59, and then 6 were women. And the women were in the top 20 of the 59. Yeah.
I have one question, since I have never experienced that feeling of being in a co-ed school. I
Oh, you
heard
mean a single-sex
single-sex school. Yes, I heard even in schools like Wellesley, there are male faculties, and the same situation happens in boys' school. There are female faculties, right?
Yeah.
So will female faculties be given special attention in boys' school, and vice versa in women's school?
Well, we had a whopping 3 women teachers in the entire high school. And those 3 women had been teaching there for a long time when I got there. So they were like really
Old lady.
familiar with how to deal with a classroom full of teenage boys. And honestly, I don't think any of the boys, young men, whatever, really noticed any real difference. Those women were a little more nurturing because most of the teachers were guys, so it seemed like they were more nurturing, relatively speaking, but a lot of the male teachers were kind of tough and not in touch with their emotions or anything like that. It was a little bit behind in some of the more sensitive areas. So even though one other thing about the all-male experience is that there is a little more, I would say there's more like there's more abuse as a general mode of communication. There was just kind of verbal abuse and roughhousing, and at the same time there was like a work hard academically attitude that a lot of guys had. And we also had to wear like a suit and tie and pretend like we were going to be professionals someday. And I don't know. I think I have mixed feelings. Even though I've heard it's stupid to look back and think about the regrets of your life, I also think, well, maybe I would do that differently because on the one hand, I feel I academically thrived. On the other hand, it set me back in a number of ways that I didn't really know how to grow at the right time with other people in terms of relationships or what have you. But then maybe it didn't matter because other people were going to co-ed schools and they weren't in relationships either. Were you in a relationship just because you went to a co-ed school?
I think I gained a relationship not because I went to a co-ed school, because actually my boyfriend did not come from the same school as me.
In high school?
In high school is also co-ed school. I was not in a relationship.
Because you were studying too much?
I think I studied too much and also was under a lot of pressure by that time.
Do you think it mattered that you went to a school that had boys and girls, or it didn't?
I honestly don't know. I'm super curious the feelings if I attended a female school, what would I think?
Right.
Like for now, just have a lot of curiosities.
Of what it might have been like.
Yes. For example, if I live in the dorm, my roommates will dress very casually. Like probably sometimes they dress overexposed clothes, overexposure clothes.
Because it was co-ed?
Because co-ed. No, because they know it's a female student's dorm. I'm wondering if it's a female student's school, whether everybody will be more relaxed in that situation because there's no gender pressure.
Oh, that's a good question. That reminds me of a time I went to visit Bryn Mawr College, which is an all-female college. And I went there to visit a friend of mine, and she took me into the dining hall. And I was very shy because I was studying engineering, and I was like, wow. Even though my college had a whole bunch of women and they were all very beautiful, suddenly I was in a different environment. It was all women. And they noticed me, and they all kind of looked at me when I was walking through the dining hall, like, what is that creature? What is he doing here? Is he with her? Are they together? What are they doing? What is the nature of their relationship? What are they doing? Why is he here? Who is he? I don't want to talk to him, but I want to look at him from a distance. And I don't know, I felt like I was being judged. And I wondered if the woman I was with, if she felt it too. And she was actually very confident she was like, yeah, I have a man with me, and he's with me, and we're at the dining hall. And she was kind of like acting like it wasn't a big deal. But then other girls were like, they were sitting down the table at the dining hall, and they were kind of leering.
Gossiping.
Well, they weren't really, I don't know if they were talking, but they were all like, yeah.
You and your friend definitely got a lot of attention.
That day, yeah. And I didn't know what to do. I didn't know, because I was like so shy. I was a little bit like, I should hide. I don't know. But have you ever noticed any times when like a guy came to visit campus?
I feel like guys come visit campus pretty regularly.
They do.
So yeah, it's not that a big deal, at least for me, and I think for most people, yeah.
Okay, so it's not like, what is that person doing on our campus?
Not too much, or at least I don't feel it.
Okay. What about in terms of casual attitudes? Do you think there's like lower pressure? Do you think the presence of men does something on some level to the way women behave or the way they behave with each other? Or not at all?
I'm not really sure, but like for me, I feel like it's around the same. Like I don't think there is much difference.
No?
No.
Interesting.
What about the same question to the boys?
Yeah.
What question?
Your question. If you ask in the other way,
What?
what would the boys feel about?
Well, what do you mean?
So is it
Yeah.
voice action will be different or not?
Will there be difference?
if there's
Oh.
a
Boys.
girl in
If there are
front of them?
girls in the class at high school, yes. But that never happened. There was never a time when a girl came to our class. All right.
Ooh.
How do I do both legs at the same time?
Come in first.
Okay.
Oh, very adjusted.
All right.
No, I want to sure everybody stay close and make sure people are in the camera.
Oh, we're close.
Oh yeah, very close.
We can get
Very
very
close.
close.
Oh.
You can even stay.
This is how we
Move
build connections across the Pacific, across the Atlantic, and across the Americas.